What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video, I'm gonna share with you my 10 best style tips for big guys. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join us. And to my returning friends like Raphael Ortiz, salute. Now, hands down, one of the most common requests I get for videos on this channel are style tips for the big guys. Ask and ye shall receive. Now, although I may not be the biggest guy in the world, I do fight the battle of the bulge, especially with this midsection, so I can relate to the big fellas. And I'm gonna share with you some tips that I use to hide some of my flaws and you can use to look large and in charge. I got a bunch of tips that'll help the big guys look just as stylish as their smaller counterparts. So without any further delay, let's hop right into it. Now, the first tip you're gonna hear is the style mantra, no matter what size, age, or look you're going for, is the most important. But it's even more crucial for my big guys. Fit is king. When you're a bigger guy, you have less room for error. Thus, a tailor should be your best friend. Clothes that don't fit well are gonna exaggerate your wrinkles, your bulges, and your sag. And here's the thing, don't do what a lot of guys do, try to hide their physique in big clothes. These big unfitting clothes make you look even bigger. The job of a tailor is to accentuate your strong points and minimize your flaws. And I'm not just talking about your dressier clothing. Your casual clothing is even more important to be tailored for my bigger guys because casual clothing can look sloppy on you quite easily. So if you don't take anything else from this video, make the best tailor in your town your best friend. Fit is king for my king size fellas. Which segues kind of nicely into my next point. A great style tip for big guys, dress up. Here's the reason why. Dressier clothes add structure and form to your shape. Something that big guys obviously need. Those suit jackets, those blazers, those sports coats are gonna look great on my bigger guys. These dressy options add structure to your shoulder and make your waist look narrower. As I mentioned, dressier clothes help frame and shape your body. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, casual clothes are much easier to get wrong for the big fellas. They can easily come off as sloppy. That's why a lot of times your better dressed big guys are guys that dress up. Well-dressed big guy stands out in a positive way. So if you're a big guy who wants to elevate their style, lean heavily on dressier clothing. Next up is a very easy tip for my big guys. What fit you should have in your pants, meaning specifically the rise. High rise, mid rise, or low rise. My suggestion, a higher rise. Leave the low rise pants to the skinny fellas. Wear your pants at your waist, not your hip. This type of fit is gonna be the most flattering. And on top of that, if you're looking for jeans, chinos, and even some trousers, look for athletic fit. These are gonna be roomier in the seat and the thigh. So when shopping for jeans, chinos, and trousers, most of the time, big guys, I recommend a higher rise in an athletic fit. Another great style tip for my bigger guys, especially if you wanna do something that's a little casual but still put together, lean heavily on untucked but tailored shirts. The reason why I recommend the tailored untucked look for my bigger guys, a lot of times when your shirt is tucked in and you have a belt on, it bunches up that midsection. It will actually draw attention to your belly, and we don't want that. A nice untucked shirt that fits correctly covers your belly and drapes nicely. But here's the key when it comes to wearing a shirt untucked. It has to be the right length. An easy guide, you want that untucked shirt to fall around mid-crotch. It needs to be the right length. Your typical dress shirt is probably gonna be too long. It's gonna fall lower than that. So either buy a shirt that falls around mid-crotch area or have your local tailor bring it up that high. My next tip for the big guys is a very important one in my opinion. When it comes to your accessories, wear accessories that are proportional to your size. In other words, the bigger guys should be wearing larger accessories. Wear a bigger watch face. That 38mm watch might not look as good on you. Go for something above 40. And also with your ties, I recommend a little bit of a wider tie. A skinny or narrow tie definitely doesn't work for you. It doesn't fit your frame. So when selecting your watches, your ties, your glasses, etc., wear ones that are a little bigger. You want your accessories to be proportional to your size. Next up, I have a very easy tip that you can incorporate when you're a bigger guy and you want to be a little bit more stylish. Instead of wearing a belt, try out suspenders. Here's why suspenders work very well for bigger guys. When you wear a belt, it cinches your waist. Like I mentioned earlier, it brings attention to your belly. It's just harder for a big guy to look great with a belt on, but you still need to hold those pants up. Suspenders allow your pants to drape naturally without the bunching and cinching of a traditional belt. This is a technique that stylish big guys have been using for a long time, and I recommend it for a lot of guys. Like I said, suspenders just help your pants drape more naturally. A natural drape is going to look very flattering on my larger fellas. Next up on my list of the best style tips for my big guys out there, let's talk about color selection and pattern selection. You want to keep your patterns and your colors simple. I would lean towards solid neutrals and classic patterns. We're talking about your navies, your chocolates, your grays, your olives. And when it comes to patterns, I want you to stick with subtle checks and stripes. And the huge patterns are not going to be your friend. These large patterns and graphics are going to be exaggerated on your big frame. But if you're comfortable wearing bold colors, go for it. But for most big guys, stay in the neutral. And these simple neutrals will be easy for you to mix and match throughout your wardrobe. Most of my big fellas, I'm going to recommend simple neutrals and classic subtle prints and patterns. Now that tip was all about color and print selection. This one, fabric selection. When it comes to my big guys, I recommend light yet sturdy fabric. You want to wear smooth, natural, durable fabrics. We're talking about wool, cashmere, silk, and your cottons. And when possible, and it's very easy these days, mix these classic fabrics with some synthetic. I'm talking about a little polyester, a little bit of stretch. These synthetic fibers are going to be breathable and moisture wicking. Very key for my big guy. Now, I'm not someone who recommends that any guys spend a lot of time chasing trends, but I definitely don't recommend my big guys go trend chasing. That's because simple and classic looks better on a larger frame. I mentioned earlier your suit jackets, your blazers, but I'm even talking about bomber jackets, a nice pair of chinos, a classic pair of wool trousers, high quality classic basics. These are going to add structure to your look. Part of the problem with chasing trends is easy to get wrong. And let's face it, our smaller guys can get away with that a little easier. Build a basic, versatile wardrobe with high quality essentials. You'll look great as a big guy or any guy. Okay, one of the great things about these videos, I get the freestyle. So I'm going to give you a couple extra bonus tips on top of the 10. One that just came to mind, find stores that work very well for you and stick with them. This is something I recommend for every guy, but even more so for bigger guys. It can be very frustrating going from brand to find the right fit. When you find a store that has clothing that fits you well, keep patronizing them. One of the stores I think does an excellent job at serving the larger guy, Bonobos or Bonobos, never been sure how to pronounce it. They have a large selection of clothing that fits very well and looks very good on my bigger fellas. But whether you shop at Bonobos or another store, once you find a brand that works well for you, stick with it. Another bonus tip that just came to mind, for my bigger fellas, a great thing to frame your face, have well-groomed facial hair. Now, one of the things that can happen to my bigger guys, you can have your double chin, your face is gonna be fuller. A great way to frame it, a nice beard. Not only will a well-groomed beard look great on you, it will frame your jawline, giving you a stronger jawline. Grooming is very important for any guy, but some nice well-groomed facial hair, a great style technique for the large fellas. And last, but certainly not least, on my list of the 10 best style tips for my big fellas is one I need to keep reminding myself of that I don't always stick to. Buy clothes for the size you are, not the size you hope to become. Now, between you and me, I've been fighting this battle of the bulge for the last 3 years or so. But that hasn't stopped me from buying a bunch of clothes for the size I think I'm gonna get to. I mean, seriously, I am gonna lose this weight one day. But until then, you know what I need to do and you need to do? Buy clothes that fit you now. And this is something I see a lot of big guys struggling with. You say, hey, I can't be stylish as a big guy. I'll just buy clothes for when I lose weight. That's pure BS. Big guys can be just as stylish as anyone else. And if you're anything like me, It's a struggle to get to their ideal weight. So during that frustration, should we stop trying to be stylish? Of course not. So while you and I are still working on losing those pounds, in the meanwhile, we need to buy clothes for the size we are, not for our dream size. Okay, so there you have it. My 10 best and a couple of extra style tips for the big guys. And for my big stylish guys out there, help us out. Let us know in the comment section any tips I may have left out. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, hit that like button. Helps the channel to grow. And of course, tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos we release every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'll check you out the next time.